go. All right. Hi, Shridhar. I run Sony Music in India, and I've been there for 20 years.
Param Singh, co-founder, executive chairman of Saavn, India's largest music streaming service.
All right, this is my first time at Music Expo. I mean, I was Sat and I have been talking for many years, never really got out here. And I think the time is right now. I think we're seeing a lot of connections now built in between the US and the Indian markets. It's kind of, we're trying for years to get this going. Unlike in the UK, where we had traditionally more success with Indian music traveling into the UK market because it's a smaller, more homogeneous kind of crowd there. Whereas here it's much more dispersed, much more different. But we're seeing amazing collaborations now with producers' interest, with Bollywood interest, with I think what the internet has done, which is really the media gatekeepers are no longer as important as they used to be. So it's becoming, we're trying to see a lot of opening up that's happening for our artists and our music here.
For us, Sat had asked us to come out here to really showcase India and music streaming, the music streaming business in India to mainstream record label executives and music managers here. Just to be able to have them understand what is the opportunity, how can their artists, really grow in that market and leverage our audience. All of the executives that we've been meeting and talking to are all very excited about the prospect of India. They see it as a huge opportunity of growth for them and for their artists.
The reason I think for why most people have debates and questions about this is the overall dependence of how Bollywood is and the Bollywood music and how that works. It's difficult to figure out who the real performer in a Bollywood song is. I mean, how much credit would you give the actor of the film, the director of the film, the guy who's actually shot the video, who's the composer, and finally who's actually sung the song, right? So it's actually unlike in the West where the performer is the single biggest driver of the fans and of the market and the revenue. In the Bollywood context of a cinema, it is questionable as to what is actually making the music sell, right? And that's the basic origin of, I think, people's confusion, and I think differences of how they see that market with the lens of this market.
No, for Saavn, it's multi-pronged both for India and the Indian diaspora. For the Indian diaspora specifically, we've been growing our paid music model and for really engaged users and they're appreciating our product, we're improving the product. It's something that is really exciting because it's the first time that Indian music is getting real subscriber base. For India, it's a tremendous time, right? Just given the fact that 4G LTE is now becoming pretty much available to all of the major cities and tier 2, tier 3 cities. Handset manufacturers are coming in with cheap $50 or less Android phones. So the market is just about to explode, and it already is. So it's a really amazing time.
I want to say one of the biggest playlists, one of the big search features on a platform like Saavn would actually be Shah Rukh Khan. The guy who doesn't sing, doesn't write a note, doesn't do anything, right? But as far as music goes, he'd probably be the biggest artist, without a doubt. And so with that comes the complexities and the uniquenesses. So in fact, some of the stuff that we're evolving in terms of how we're trying to do the metadata around music is actually most unique in India. You'll suddenly start searching for music, Karan Johar's music. All right, he's actually just the director of the film. All right, there's nowhere else in the world. So when you actually now do have an Amazon Echo or Alexa kind of questioning and having a conversation and it's a vocal input, the issue is what is the metadata around Indian music? And where does it actually happen, right? So yes, that's very, very unique to us. I don't think any other market has that kind of complexity. It's very interesting, yes. I think one of the things that's changing quite quickly, and I think you mentioned that, and then what RAVE is trying to do, it's actually, I think we're trying to see another renaissance of, I think, the pop business in the truest sense of the word. I think there is actually now, it's not just no longer independent. I think pop is really building up itself, both from an independent scene, alternate scene, to a mainstream scene. You're seeing a lot of that. So, and one of that is actually, one of the impact of that is really going to be, it's not just the growth of it and the labels doing more of it. You're actually going to see it starting to disrupt Bollywood. I think we're going to have a moment here when effectively, and it's starting to happen with us, where for the soundtracks that we acquire, we now are placing music in the soundtracks. And these are music that we actually sign off pop artists or get songs written and actually place them in films. So that's an amazing trend. There's another trend that's beginning to happen, which is the role of international artists in Bollywood soundtracks. So for the next Shah Rukh film, for example, you're going to have Diplo writing a song. You're probably going to have Zayn singing a song. So it's becoming a great platform on which a lot of exchange is happening between international artists and Indian artists.
for us, it's really that, bring us music, bring us what people want to hear. And if there's independent artists that are not finding their way into films, because there's only, call it, a few hundred films a year, across all languages and genres, but there's thousands of artists and tracks that are kind of coming out. So how do we kind of get that music out there? And that's really where we want to be able to work with guys like you who are kind of developing these artists and trying to bring them onto our platform. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, nice seeing you, man. Thank you, man. Yeah. It's good to see you.
All right,
good to
sir.
be back. Oh. See you in a minute,
No, we haven't. Hi, Shridhar.
Shridhar.
Hi, Param. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
This guy.
Oh, thank you.
Good to see you.
How are you doing?
I'm good, man.
Oh, thank you.